What up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Black Expat Podcast, coming at you guys live from Taichung, Taiwan on YouTube. Today, I have a very special episode about the Philippines, but before I get into the details, you guys know what time it is. Have a drink with me. What I will be showing you guys today is me and Patrick's adventure in the Philippines, swimming with whale sharks. I know what you're thinking. I don't know how to swim that well. That's true. Didn't even know how to swim at the time, but I was talked into doing it by who else? My best friend Patrick. So, without further ado, check out me talking about whale sharks, but very differently than what you used to see. I hope you like it. Check it out. So, as we were getting ready to go swimming with whale sharks, there were two different emotions going on. There was Patrick, who was thrilled and excited, and then there was me, who was carefully looking around, making sure that the boats we were getting on made sense, and making sure that myself was prepared to dive headfirst into the water and swim with whale sharks. Again, I'm not a great swimmer, as you can tell from the photos, but Patrick was an amazing swimmer. Now, when I said the Philippines was beautiful, I meant that. It was beautiful. I was a bit nervous because the boats we were on, they looked a bit janky, I'm not going to lie. And we were just paddling out to the middle of the ocean, waiting on whale sharks to swim up to us and then for us to inevitably give them food. But on our way to this destination, we were literally taking water out of the boat and dumping it back into the ocean because water was submerging us, right? And I know what you guys are thinking. Why didn't you jump out right there? First, remember, I can't swim that well. And second, everyone else is doing the same thing, so it appeared to be, mostly okay. Was I nervous about it? Absolutely. But what we could see as we were paddling along the way were the whale sharks coming up to us. So at this point in time, as we were moving further into the center of where we needed to be, I started taking pictures of them coming up to boats, eating things that the fishermen and that other people, our tour guides essentially, were dropping into the water for us to get some close-up views of the whale sharks without actually having to be in the water. Here's what I will say. Whale sharks are sharks, but they are harmless to humans, right? They don't bite or anything like that. Now, at that moment, I didn't know all this information. I was just being told, yeah, it's okay, it's okay. Patrick was more excited. He was just ready to jump into the water, and that is exactly what he did. He took his snorkel out, and he just dived in, right? And he was going head first underneath the water. At this point, I gave him my GoPro, and I said, look, you go in and you do your thing. I'm going to watch you from up here to make sure you're safe, and I'm going to get pictures of you, and then I want you to go in and get pictures of the whale shark. And that's what he did. When it was my turn, I took my time. I put my feet in a little bit just to make sure that the water was warm enough. I pointed to the camera yeah, man, I'm coming in. I'm there. But it took me a good 10 to 15 minutes to actually get in the water. And even then, I didn't really all the way get into the water. I kind of put my head in, head down first to kind of look to see if I could see something without letting go of the boat. Again, I want to say this one more time. At this point in time, I didn't know how to swim at all. This was my third time being in the ocean, right? So I put my head in and I was able to see that the water was very clear. People were scuba diving underneath us, but man, there were I want to say 5 to 7 whale sharks just floating right beneath us, so close that we could pretty much touch them. And yeah, don't make fun of my legs. I don't care. I was swimming with whale sharks. Now, if you wanted to, you could reach your arm out and touch them and pat them. I wasn't really that into that. I didn't really want to. I just wanted to see them and say that I did it. I was also worried about water getting into the boat, but that part was taken care of. Patrick, he dived in. He was trying to get as close as possible. He also didn't want to get too far away from the boat because it was kind of rocking and he was worried about me, which I appreciate. But he got some great pics up close and personal of the whale sharks. He also dropped the camera a few times, so he was going to have to dive down there and get it. But whale sharks are huge. I think I'll look this up later, but they're 10 to 15 feet long, maybe longer than that. They have these huge mouths that open up and let all the fish or whatever that they're eating go into. Again, the water was crystal clear. It was beautiful. There were many of fish swimming around them. And people were dropping little pellets of food in for them to eat and things like that. I actually think whale sharks might be vegetarians. I'll look that up. I don't think they actually eat meat. But anyway, back to me. I was swimming in the water. I finally decided to get in. I saw Patrick down there snorkeling with his head underneath the water, looking to see if he could see whale sharks. which is pretty cool. He got really, really close to one. There was also a point in time where there was one right behind him, and I pointed it out, and Patrick kind of forgot, and he turned around really quickly. I jumped in to kind of save him. I didn't jump in to save him. I jumped in to get a better picture, but I stayed as close to the boat as I possibly can. What I will say is, don't be afraid to do things you've never done before, but do them carefully. I really cared about staying alive during that point, right? But I was also really proud and confident, and happy for myself that I actually got in the water. And I put my head down, and I was able to see whale sharks up close and personal. Again, this is something I'd never done in my life, and I'd never thought that I would do, in my entire life. But just to have the opportunity to be in the Philippines this close, two whale sharks swimming just inches, not feet, not miles. They were inches away from us and away from the boat, and they weren't tipping us over, was just absolutely amazing. Like, I'm just truly proud of myself, taking the courage and having the courage to actually get out there and do that. And again, the photos we got were beautiful. Shout out to having a GoPro. GoPro sponsor me, or if you know somebody who wants to sponsor me, go ahead. But yeah, it was absolutely amazing. Once I get out, I got in maybe 2 or 3 times. I was not trying to get back in. I mean, honestly, once you see him up close and once you get a few good pictures, it's cool. Patrick really enjoyed himself. He took his shirt off. He was diving into the water, splashing all around. I think he may have seen like 4 or 5 of them. I was cool just seeing my one. Like, I was not really interested in, going back in, swimming around, flapping my feet around and things like that. I was really just okay with seeing my one whale shark. And then there were a bunch of different boats that went out too, which means that there were just a lot of whale sharks that were in the water. So everyone that was there on tours and that were a part of, the experience we were having, were able to see whale sharks up close and in person as well. So again, this was an amazing experience to do in the Philippines. I can honestly say I would not have done this if my best friend, Patrick, wasn't there, because again, he was going to save me. If I had gotten eaten by one, if a surprise non-whale shark showed up out of nowhere, he was going to jump in that water and save me. That was one of the conditions that I had. But again, you've seen in some of my other videos, we say things like live adventurously. I say things like YOLO. This is back in the day, not now. Try everything once. But part of my travels and part of the things that I've done all over the world, I have definitely lived that life, right? That live adventurously, that try everything once, not knowing how to swim. Since then, I have learned how to swim, and if I ever had the chance to go back, I would do things a little bit differently. But I'm not disappointed in the way that things were done. Again, the Philippines is beautiful. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I don't think I will go back to this location because the Philippines is full of beautiful and wonderful islands. So, again, this was an amazing experience and an amazing thing to do with, my best friend in the entire world and a great travel companion in the Philippines. So, yeah. Swimming with whale sharks is exactly what it sounds like. Again, they don't bite. It's a little bit dangerous, because, the boat was always sinking as we were swimming out there. But it was a truly unforgettable and memorable experience. I'm glad that I stepped out on a limb, lived adventurously, and did it. So, yeah. Swim with whale sharks, y'all. Get out there. See the world. Dive in the water. And more importantly, learn how to swim. And that was Swim with Whale Sharks in the Philippines. It was really cool. I know it was mostly photos, but don't worry. Part 2, the next thing I'll show you about the Philippines, is more about whale sharks, but done differently. So make sure you tune into that one. I want to make sure I give you guys new, interesting, fascinating content in new and different ways. Otherwise, you'll get bored and I'll get bored. So I like to keep it fresh. But that's all for today. You guys know what time it is. Before we get out of here, one last drink with me. One last drink with me until next time. Like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and make sure you subscribe to the Black Expat Podcast, which is available wherever podcasts can be found. Till next time, guys.